worthy of this 10 pounds of gold. And I'm just like, wow, shit, and I thought that was intense. That was good promo from Aldis, definitely. And they're still doing this Camille will not speak thing. I found out her name. Her name is Camille, and so she hasn't spoken in the 3 episodes they've had. I don't know if this went on before that, but the interviewer is still really all over that, and Aldous got on his ass again about it. He's like, this is not clickbait. This is not about clickbait bullshit. This is the NWA. This is about wrestling. And he tries once again, and she won't speak. And I'm just like, is her last name Goldberg? Like Camille Goldberg? Is that what's going on here? Is she going to start spearing motherfuckers and jackhammering them 173-0? Like, I mean, what's going on? I mean, we'll have to wait and see. It is interesting. It's captivating. So, I mean, a cool little segment. The Camille thing is growing on me. So, if they're going away from that controlling boyfriend thing, that'd be great. Like I said, I thought that was campy. But if they're going in this direction, like some mysterious deal, like I'm interested in seeing what happens next time. Next episode of Powerrr. So definitely have to check that out. The main event was Eli Drake and Tim Storm after their pep rally earlier in the show versus the Dawsons. Now I don't know too much about the Dawsons, but they seem to be the main heel tag team of NWA right now, because I haven't met a very big tag team division just yet. I mean, they seem smaller. It seems like they have a smaller roster, which is fine. They're making it happen. They're making it work. So that's all that matters. And the Dawsons seem to be that main heel group. So they kind of remind me if the Briscoes and then the War Raiders or Viking Raiders or whatever the fuck you want to call them had some illegitimate children, this would probably be them, but it would be more sided on the War Raiders, family lineage than the Briscoes. They just seem like they have some Briscoe in them. As great of an analogy and a description as that is. So, just take that imagery for me, and just go with it. But they seem interesting. I like their finishing maneuver. I don't know the names yet. I just know that one of the Dawson brothers will pick them up on the shoulder, and then the other will run and jump at them and do some sort of like big splash slam maneuver. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And it wasn't too bad of a main event. I do like them all here. It was a pretty fast paced matchup, because they only have an hour, or a little under an hour to get everything out. So they have to kind of go quick. The Dawsons end up going over, which I did not really expect. I kind of expected, with the pep rally earlier in the show, the hero and the downtrodden legend of the locker room would go over, the two big baddies. And it didn't happen. So that was interesting. It was a twist. It was, a swerve, bro. It was a swerve, bro. But it was interesting. So I thought that was cool. And then at the end, Nick Aldis comes out to check on Tim Storm, which I'm like, oh, wow, that's even more interesting. But they cut off there. And I was like, oh, no. Why? So overall, it wasn't a bad episode. I got to say. Average, I gave the show a 2.79 originally. But I think since the opening intro was so cool, and I wanted to mention that, definitely we're just going to bump it up to a 3. So 3 out of 5. Not a bad show. Definitely check it out. Keep following the NWA Powerrr, episodes. They got the pay-per-view coming up next month, and it's sold the fuck out, which is good for them, Congratulations, sold out. And, they're bringing back the NWA to a relevancy they haven't seen in a long time. And that's not a knock against the NWA. It's just the truth, They had a rough fucking couple of years ever since WCW went down, and ECW went down, and a lot of the other companies just kind of fell out of it, TNA showed up, and they had some NWA lineage, but it soon was just cut off from them as well, and just turned into TNA, and NWA was gone again. And it's like they haven't got a fair shake, so now we're seeing it back again, and that's really awesome, and I think it's cool. And a lot of people are on this train. So, since we're at the end of the review, once again, I want to say that Powerrr definitely gets a 3 out of 5. Honey, may I have a cigarette? That's right, I smoke. But no. So, Powerrr gets a 3 out of 5. Good show. Check it out on YouTube. I probably just deafened somebody by catching that by the microphone. Oh, Loiter? Very professional. Anyways, but let's, just for a minute, because I'm not going to go into a full fucking thing here, because we got me and Sean's episode coming up soon, and I'm sure we're going to tackle this. I just want to give a quick opinion, because it is so hot right now, and it is so insanely fucking crazy. I'm going to say something to Jim Cornette. Whether he ever listens to this or not, it's not going to matter. I just want to get this out there. As a wrestling fan, as a fan of the athletic performance and the wonderful storylines and the absolutely insane larger than life characters that come along with this program. I want to say this to Jim Cornette. Jim, get some chill, friend. Please fucking relax before you give yourself a heart attack. Now, look, I respect Jim Cornette's opinion. I do very much. I mean, the man knows what he's talking about. He's been doing this for a long fucking time. I mean, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. I don't know. He's been doing it since wrestling was probably invented. I could see him, in Greco-Roman times with his racket, beating up somebody to get the pin, or, telling somebody, fuck you, thank you, bye, whatever he does. But I want to talk about this whole Marco stunt thing. I mentioned him during the show. Like I said, it wasn't a knock. Jim Cornette has a huge fucking problem with All Elite Wrestling. And I have, been listening to a lot of what Jim Cornette has had to say about All Elite Wrestling this entire week. Because when I'm not doing these podcasts, I'm listening to podcasts at work, and I like to. It's fun. I learn. I love learning about wrestling, and I learn a lot. I want to suggest that, by the way, if you have a chance, check out the Jim Cornette Experience, or Corny's Drive-Thru on YouTube, or his websites, or wherever you can get them, because they are chock full of fucking information, and he's got a lot of good points about things. But we're going to specifically talk about his points about AEW. So, this is my deal. Sorry, it just went out, it just went out. And I've never really, said anything to anybody like this before who has any stature in the wrestling business. Just because, I don't know these people. And honestly, most of the time, they never really hear it. But you never know. These days, people get out more and more. There's more, of a communication barrier that's gone. You can communicate with these people. So I just want to throw this out there. All Elite Wrestling is silly. Yeah, they do a lot of flips and flops and, the fucking Orange Cassidy. Need I say more? There are things about AEW that I can understandably say are kind of unrealistic, obviously. And this isn't the defense where wrestling can be silly because it's fun and all this. Jim Cornette's biggest argument is wrestling is wrestling. It's a man's sport. You don't break into dance contests in the middle of the matches. You don't use invisible hand grenades to knock down your opponents. You don't put somebody's hand on your junk and then flip them with said junk. These are things you don't do. And I do understand that. But how is it killing the business? Obviously, it's not killing the business. Jim, it's not. You know why it's not killing the business? Because, these people are setting records. They're selling out shows. They're watching this, what do you call it again? What do you call it again, Jim? Give me some strains right this minute. What was the word I'm looking for? The cosplay wrestling and the independent fucking mud shows. That's usually what I'm hearing you say. These aren't those. These guys are selling out stadiums. These guys are selling out each show and every show. Your company is selling out shows. And you guys do focus more on the actual wrestling side, the nitty-gritty NWA wrestling side that a lot of people grew up with. And that wrestling is awesome, and it should have never been forgotten in the first place, and I'm so glad that it's making a comeback here into, the modern wrestling era. But just remember that it is a style of wrestling. I don't see any problem with being able to enjoy the NWA-esque, 80s and 90s style of wrestling and the AEW style of wrestling that we're seeing now. WWE is not even in the conversation because I think we can both agree that's really not wrestling anymore other than NXT. They do some really good stuff. But I digress. There's nothing wrong with being able to enjoy both types of wrestling, serious and non-serious, comedy and non-comedic. It's wrestling. It's fun to watch. Both sides. You've got your serious, skillful, technically mastered fucking art pieces of work that you guys are putting on, and AEW is putting on their own as well. And you have your funny, silly, stupid, fucking matches that happen, and they happen, and they're gonna happen. And so I just think that just open up some, Jim. Just give it a chance. I do understand your frustrations with like the having a match with a blow up doll, or the hand grenade thing. And even if I am a fan of Joey Ryan, I'm willing to admit the dick flip is kind of fucking retarded. I can admit that. I can. But it still can be enjoyable. If I was at a show and the main event was Tim Storm versus Nick Aldis, and the match before that was Joey Ryan versus Marco Stunt, I'm going to enjoy both those fucking matches. I am. And that's another thing I want to say real quick. Marco Stunt. You guys need to chill the fuck out about Marco Stunt. People are like, oh, he was nothing like Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio had body mass and all this. You can look at Rey Mysterio when he was breaking into the business at 15 and 16 years old. He was a stick figure with a fucking mask on. That's what he was, a stick figure with a fucking mask on. And there's nothing wrong with that, because he beefed up. And maybe Marco, will beef up later. Maybe he won't. But obviously he's got skill. Obviously he's got talent. He can wrestle. He can get in there and he can do the spots. He can do what he needs to do, and he's taking care of the other guys. He's being taken care of by the other guys. The other people in the ring respect him. Jericho respects him. Leave it the fuck alone. He's a short guy. He's small. So the fuck what? There are a lot of small guys. People didn't give Hornswoggle this much flack when he won the Cruiserweight Championship on fucking SmackDown. But you're willing to die on the hill of fucking Marco Stunt just because he's a small guy, I mean, he's small and it's ridiculous. Sit back and enjoy the fucking show for a minute, Enjoy the shit that you're watching. Don't pick it a fucking part like you're some kind of analytical fucking douchebag. I understand there's some of us who do automatically, and that's what I do. I do it automatically, but honestly, like, I have to stop and say, this show is good, even though that match was kind of bland. Just like this episode of NWA Power. That match with Parker and Caleb something, wasn't the best match on the card. Did that ruin the whole fucking show? Did I go to Twitter and say, these guys don't know what they're doing, and that guy's too small, and he's fucking Canadian, or whatever else? No, I didn't do that. I watched the rest of the fucking show, and I enjoyed the rest of the fucking show, because it was a good fucking show. So, to you, with a bow on it, Jim, whether you hear it or not, nice little fucking bow. Enjoy your day. Thanks, guys, for stopping by. Me and Sean will hopefully have a full episode up very soon, and we'll go into this even more in detail in the coming days. Waiting for AEW Dynamite tonight, and I'm going to try and watch AEW Dark tonight. And this is my day 5 of Wrestle Challenge 365. Make sure you want to hit me up on the tweeters at Big Bad Boo Bear. You can read the rest of my reviews. And join in, man. Get on the hashtag train here with the hashtag Wrestle Challenge 365. Thanks for stopping by, guys.